Hey guys, welcome back to Flying in Space with Plan Ahead. It may look the same, but it is a couple hours later since my last video. Um, I have not booted back into the game. I'm about to. Reason why I'm holding off just yet is I've logged off in space in player controlled nullsec. So whenever I do log in, I'm going to be ready and active to scout the area and look and see whether or not I should be able to travel or not. If you watched the last video, I'm on my way out to try to get to Venal, but to get there in a regular fashion for the first time, you have to fly through player-controlled space most of the time. Honestly, I'm not sure if there's other routes around, but I think you have to. Um, so after that, there's other ways to get there on a regular fashion and get out. You could try to get through wormholes or maybe some other ways, but those are kind of random. Um, this being an alpha character, as you've watched me before, I don't have any cloak, so I've got to be a little bit careful. I'm going to try to use the in-game map. I haven't pulled up Dotland. So actually, let me check here. Do I have Dotland up? No. Okay. Um, and I got to remember I do have a basic cerebral that I need to throw on him there, pesky conqueror. But so I'm going to try to log in here, take a quick look at the gates, and see what the life to death ratio is of the gates. Try to keep on my move toward Venal. Got to be a little bit careful here. I don't know if I'll make it there completely. We're going to try to see how far we can go. So let's see what happens here. Thoroughly expecting to get blown up somewhere along the way here. Okay. So before I didn't have my local up, now I do. There's 8 people in local here. If I had cloak, I'd spend some time just to scout the area out. There's a lot of player-controlled stuff that's out here. I don't have the time for that right now. What I do need to do is figure out this gate spot. I'm at a safe spot right now. I need to, I'm just going to pump that once. I don't want my signature to be too large. It makes it easy for people to scan me down. So let's see. Need to keep that D scan going. Oh, you guys can't see it down here in the bottom right. Maybe I'll just put it up here at the top. Is my directional scanner. I didn't realize I didn't have that on there. It's my big fat head in the middle of everything. Okay, let's get that up here just a little bit more. Don't mess around too much here. There we go. Okay, a little bit more coffee. Let's take a quick look at, we want to get to the 15WGC gate. So let's take a look at the system here. We're wanting to get to there. So that's one issue. There is nothing else near this gate. Okay. So going from this gate to this gate that I came in from, there may be some bubbles here or bubbles after. So what I want to do is actually I'm going to warp to this Forsaken hub and then try to scream up that way. Maybe I'll be able to miss a thing there.
Warp drive
I
active.
can't spend too much time here. These guys in the Forsaken hub can blow me up. So we're going to do that. I had this at 1. I'm just checking for combat probes. Let's see. Pump it up to 5. Yeah, we're good there. Okay. Now we're going to warp toward the gate at 100. Hopefully we won't get snagged by any gate bubbles.
Active.
And I'm also going to drop a safe spot. TNW. So even if I do die, this will be worthwhile. I'm going to wait until I get within 14 AU. Submitted. There we go. Okay, so we've got an Enyo here and a mobile warp disruptor. And there is a mobile warp disruptor. Perfect location. We're going to warp back away.
Active.
Notice these guys over here are near this mobile warp disruptor. Aha! So I successfully, I'm going to drop another safe spot, just so I have another one. Never can have too many safe spots. So that's a great way to, I'll actually I'll pull up a paint or something like that. I've done this before in other videos, but it's been quite a while. What I'll go ahead and do is get myself going here a little bit, and then we will go ahead and log off safely. Okay. I'm just going to keep this up for a second. We're going to keep descanning. Then I'll take just a little bit of time to explain what I was doing there. Now, it doesn't always work, but it's a really good way to try to keep yourself safe if you want to take some time. Now, the reason why I'm logging off is if they were to pull out some combat probes while I was doing my little explanation, then I'd be in a lot of trouble. Now, if I had cloak, I would just cloak up and I'd be perfectly fine. So let's see if we can just pull up paint here real quick, and I'll show you exactly kind of what I was doing. This is going to be a really rough sketch here, and some of you might already know this, but let's just, can we draw? There we are. Okay, so let's say, actually let's do, this is our sun, and it's going to be really ugly. And then let's make these smaller. These are your orbiting planets here. Da da da. Da da da. So this is kind of cool. Let's do one more. These could be a little bit off too, depending on how the planets are actually orbiting around. Okay. Now, let's go back into, and this is where it gets a little bit ugly for me. We're going to just draw here. Okay. So let's just say my first gate was here. I need a larger, nah, it's not going to show up anywhere. Undo. There we go. Let's make that brush head a little bit larger. Can we? No? Maybe not? Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with it. Oh, it's over here. There we go. So let's make this a little bit smaller. Now it's seeable. So let's say my gate is here that I came in on. Why am I not just dropping a dot? It's paint. Why am I killing myself with paint? Okay, let's say right here is the gate that I'm coming in from. Here's your sun right here, and let's say over here is the gate that I was going to. Now, this is in 2 dimensions. The space is in actual 3 dimensions, okay? In general, whenever somebody, let's make this a little bit smaller, warps in to a new system, they hit this gate, and then they would fly from gate to here, to go to the next gate, to get to the next solar system. Um, 2 things can happen. Number one, if you come in through this gate, if they've warp bubbled this first gate, there's a good chance you might die unless you're really good. Even if you have a cloak, you still have to know what you're doing to be safe there. Or if you have a ship that can get through it, which is, even sometimes there's counteractions and stuff like that, and that's where the game gets really cool. Now, I don't have either one of those. I don't have a cloak, and I don't have a ship right now that's really good at getting through this. Just kind of flying out here in the middle of nowhere. So what I ended up doing, gotta love the undo. I got a little lucky getting in the system. I came in, and no one was here. So what I ended up doing was I warped to a random celestial here, and while I was warping there, I dropped a save spot right in the middle of it, right about here. Okay. Um, and from this spot, somebody would have to combat probe me down. If I had a cloak, it'd almost be impossible for somebody to do it. It would be impossible, but I could time out on it now that they put that into place, which I really, really like. Even though it hurts me, it does help the game, I think. Have your own opinions, that's cool. I know people used to just sit and cloak for hours just watching areas. So, in general, you're in what's called a safe spot here. Then once you get to here, you're wanting to get to this one, this other gate. Now, the thing that worried me was in 3 dimensions, this other gate wasn't near any other celestial, anything that I could warp to get to that spot. Um, the second thing that worried me is that um, by warping here, it was fairly close to my initial warp in or my gate entry. Now, on this gate, if you're warping toward a gate, they can put a bubble behind it called a drag bubble, usually about 100 kilometers off the gate. So somebody can't warp to the gate and instantaneously go through it, because what will happen is once you're flying to this, it will drag you into this gate and drag you off that one, and they'll have 1, 2, 3 ships, maybe more, maybe just one, ready to blow you up. As you saw in what I was doing when I was logged in, when I warped in, there was a drag bubble there, and there were 3 ships waiting on that gate. If I remember correctly, that's what I saw. Now, I might have, it was really quick because I want to get out of Dodge as quickly as possible, so I might have been a little mistaken, but I think that's what I saw. Now, why wasn't I drug into this gate? Well, that drag bubble has to be, I think it's like 5 degrees, within 5 degrees of the initial warp in. So let's go ahead. So if you notice here, if I would have warped from this initial spot, I would have been in trouble. So I pulled up, and I might have gotten drug in here. I might or might not have. Um, but it did worry me that this gate over here was on its own, that it's a perfect spot for people to do that. So what I ended up doing was, instead of going from my initial safe spot to here, and let's go ahead and back out, undo, 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 undo. I was at my regular save spot here. Remember that forlorn spot combat area here? Now, don't know exactly where it was, but instead of warping to this, I bounced off of that. I basically warped here first and then warped here second. Why did I do that? Well, these guys who are putting these warp bubbles up, they would have to have multiple bubbles all the way around here, which they could do, but that's an expensive thing to do. Um, and they would have to have this entire gate covered that way. So what I ended up doing was I warped in, and their initial gate bubble was here. There was only one of them, okay? And I was able to see that gate bubble and then warp back to here. Now, as I was flying, if I remember correctly, I dropped a safe spot here, okay? So whenever I warped in, I warped back to my safe spot, which is within 14.3 AU. So now, these guys are sitting there right now. I don't have the ability right now to get through that gate, most likely. Even if I was to get through that gate, there's a very good chance there's probably somebody on the other side of it who's working with them that might be able to tackle me there. I don't know for sure, but when you see activity, it's best to just go eat some lunch. Go pull up one of your other characters on your account. When you're doing something like this, unless you have the ability to beat these gate bubbles with cloaks or um, uh, different, or you're just a big fleet, which would be kind of fun, um, or other reasons, other things that you can do. My brain isn't functioning right now. It's best just take your time. Does this work all the time? No. Could these guys have multiple bubbles on here? Yes. Would I have been able to see that? No, because I wasn't able to get within 14.3 AU. But by keeping my eye out and looking at these things, I'm able to now reset myself and get together. I would almost suggest somebody doing this for fun when they first start playing the game with a really cheap ship like I'm doing right now, just to get the act of putting down safe spots, looking at your directional scanning, understanding what everything means, using the in-game map and the solar system map to see where things are. I think a lot of people think of Eve as a just a point and click thing, but as you notice here, just by me recognizing the three-dimensional space of that extra gate that was sitting up there, that is where the game gets the beginning of a full understanding of why I think Eve is not just point and click. Now, yeah, once you get into a fight, there is a point and click aspect to it. Now, there's other parts of that that are involved once you get to three-dimensional and what type of weapons you're using and how they affect different things, which I am nowhere near good enough to understand or smart enough. But general things like this can make a player's time in Eve a lot more interesting and a lot more fun. I've spent hours and hours as an exploration guy, um, as an alpha, out in the middle of NPC or regular nullsec space, uh, just scavenging and getting stuff and having fun and dodging people. And if I got blown up, my 5 million-ish ship was fun for them and it was fun for me. I didn't, so that by the time maybe someday I spend the 500 million ISK on a ship or build the perfect ship that I ever wanted, I'll have a better feel to fly it and be able to live in it longer. So, um, I thought this video would be longer. I didn't recognize, I'm kind of really happy that that gate camp was there because I was able to show that. I wasn't expecting that to be there right away. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go hang out with the dog, do a little bit more yard work. I've done it twice today. I'm getting a little more done. It still is hot out there, um, and maybe jump in later on today. So I will post this a day or two after the one that I just posted. Um, so just to give a little bit of a break there. But if you have any ideas, any thoughts, please feel free to send them in the comment section or just message me as Planet Head. But that's all I got for now. Hey, fly safe, fly dangerously, fly hard like you want. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye bye.